Good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray, and welcome to a Wednesday. And, well, severe weather expected this afternoon, late this afternoon. This should fall about 6 p.m. A little window there through about midnight. We'll look at all of that this morning. Be prepared as we get ready for this, and we'll show you all the details and what we're expecting on this. Again, I know a lot of places that you will read will show that, the serious weather is going to be west of here. That is true. The Mississippi River area through the Delta will be bad, but we are still in areas right here at a level 3. Do not discount bad weather. Storms can pop up. I don't want you to be unprepared and be hit with something. As we saw last week, Clark County had that small one that never even showed up for a warning. Things can happen. We'll be here to walk you through that. When the storms get bad, we'll go live and track it street by street so you'll know exactly what's going on. So how are you today? I hope good. Several things going on. Let's start with what happened just a few moments ago. Let's go to Downtown Meridian, as we're already getting reports this morning, somewhere a little after 5:30, right around in there, we got a report that a building has collapsed in Downtown Meridian. And let's pull this up. You can go to our webpage and take a look at this, the pictures and also the video. This would be the 2500 block of Front Street. This would be down there where Brown Printing used to be. Let me pull this down. We'll show you the map here of where this is before we show you the video. If you were to look at Front Street, here's going to be the 22nd Avenue. Here's Weidman's. This is where you would come out here by right here at Hewlett. This is going to be at the end down here. That's where that is. Another building has collapsed. And, of course, that being due to the fact of they're just old and the brick is just caving in, and the strong wind we've got will cause that. Now, let's pull this up where you can take a look here, the video that we've got from it this morning. As you can see here, and let's play that. Now, with that being said, there are several power poles that are knocked down this morning. So if your business is in that area, there may be a opportunity, or opportunity is not the word, a slight chance that you may not have power. Mississippi Power is en route. I know that there are 2 poles that are snapped at this point. Debris is still in the road, so that Front Street area down there is going to be blocked off when you get there. Now, let's pull up and look at some of the pictures as we go through this. This is the scene, Downtown Meridian this morning. Look at all that brick in the road there. As we come across, there's a little bit better with the headlights on that where you can see. As daylight breaks, we'll go back and have more pictures for you to see of what's going on here. But as you see there, it fully collapsed on it. What a mess. Again, the street is blocked off as we look at that now. Another angle across there. This is becoming all too often in the downtown area, is it not? That's 2 or 3 in that little area there over the last year and a half that have collapsed with things. So that's something to consider, something to know. All right, let's go to radar this morning. If you were up a couple hours ago, I was thumbing around here, and it was loud. We had a thunderstorm roll through our area bright and early this morning that rattled some windows. No warnings or anything, but it was a lot of rain that rolled through. This is what we're seeing this morning on radar so far. Some light showers in the state of Mississippi. Look at that hail that we've got there in Louisiana. It's there right at the Arkansas line as you go toward north up toward Little Rock. Again, we're going to have some severe weather in those areas. As we zoom in on this, let's take a look here. This is Winston County this morning. We've got showers right here in the northern portion as we turn on locations where you can see. This is going to be up by the jail. Winston Academy up Highway 25 on into Stark Vegas. Light showers, nothing serious right now. As we move down and we look at this, let's turn this off where you see this down in South Mississippi, north of Hattiesburg, the Laurel area, some light rains. But all of this will change, and there's several hours away from this. You will not see a lot of businesses closed because it's going to be after dark. This is one of those things to where the storms roll in after dark. Let's turn this on, and then we'll look at what the National Weather Service tells us. Let's go to the severe weather and take a look at today of what we've got here. Outlook for today, and here's what we've got. Again, if you'll look at this, this is going to be the Delta for the level 4, the utmost worst. But if you'll look here now, a lot of the area that you're watching from and you live in, we're also under a pretty good threat there. This is a level 3, and then Clark County back east into Alabama is a level 2. This is not something that you want to discount through here. Yes, is this going to be bad? Absolutely, and that'll go all the way up to Evansville, Indiana. But do not discount and go, okay, well, there's nothing to this. That's how we get hurt, and we definitely don't want any of that to happen this morning as we look at this. Now, let's zoom in on this and take a closer look here what the lines are. Here's the Meridian area here, the west side of the county, and let's just zoom in a little bit closer on this. And I do all of this and to say, again, back to that thing of don't blow this off of nothing can happen, because it can. We don't want you hurt. We want you to be well aware of what the weather is. Mother Nature is a very dangerous thing. By far. We'll look at this. All this area here west of MCC, taken in northeast, all the way up to NAS Meridian and back west till you get to the Delta is a level 3, meaning a tornado can pop up at any time during this. It can here as well on this side. As you look here into Clark County, most of it is a level 2. We've got a little bit here in Jasper County as you come across here that is a level 3 as well. All of Newton County. Y'all be on your P's and Q's. Neshoba County, Kemper County, all of these areas, Winston County. Be ready at a moment's notice with this with weather when it breaks out. And it'll be later this afternoon as we'll look at the timeline on that. But as we look at this, this is kind of like the river storm of where long cell track tornadoes could happen in these areas up toward Memphis. Doesn't mean they can't pop here. So, again, we'll be here to walk you through it street by street as it comes anywhere near you to let you know exactly where these storms are as best we can that is given to us with radar tonight. All right, as we turn that off, let's see here exactly what this says here. Let's pull this up. If you'll look at this, this is an area of to where tornadoes could happen. This is a new feature that we've got on here. And this puts this, as we look here, Winston County, high probability. We also got a lot there in Neshoba County and also northwestern corner of Newton County. The probability of tornadoes that could happen doesn't mean it won't happen here, but it's a probability that it could happen in these areas. And we look over here in this Mississippi Delta area, this is a bullseye. But again, these areas here, this is close to home for us, and most of these in Newton and also in Neshoba County, that it could happen tonight. So keep in mind with that. We'll be here to walk you through all of this as it happens. Let's turn that off and go back to just regular radar to show you where some of the storms. This is going to be east of Texarkana this morning. We got some thunderstorms that are starting to pop up. As you get into this area here in Mississippi, you'll notice that we're starting to get these wind advisories. And that's exactly what happened last night. As we see where the storms came through downtown Meridian, we got a building laying on the ground this morning if you're just tuning in. So there we are. Let's see. Bob McNeese says I'll be leaving Macon, Georgia, across 80 to Lake Edens. Can't leave until 12. What's the target of the best time? It's going to be, and I don't know how many hours it takes you to drive that. Check back with me, Bob. We're expecting, as we get into this later tonight, from like a 6 p.m. to midnight. You can be ahead of that storm if it takes 4 hours. I'd have to look at it on a map to see that, of when the storms will be there. And I'll do that in a little bit there. Good morning from Equipment, Sylvie Stewart. How are you doing there? From DeKalb, Miss Peggy Joyner. Glad to see you there. Cornbread, better known as Nick Dowell. Good morning to you, my friend. Tommy Ainsworth is up. Watching from Philadelphia, the Sullivans. How are y'all today? Enterprise has Stacy Little. Good morning to you, girl. A few of the folks watching, we appreciate that. And we see Bree Packer has been paroled from Facebook jail. Glad to have you back. I knew I hadn't seen much out of you lately. Watch what you put, girl. They'll get you. All right. Let's go ahead and roll in back to the weather and look at what the National Weather Service is telling us this morning, and then we'll look at some headlines and things that are going on. All right, let's get into the weather.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
As we look at these record highs, record lows, it was 1,966, that it was a warm day, 88 for us. Now, keep in mind, today is going to be close to that. 83 is what we're expecting. The record low was set in 1940. That would be some many years, 30 years before I was ever even thought of. Low of 30 on this date back in 1940 there. We haven't gotten the forecast today. As we look across at Alabama today, we're expecting, as the Meridian area, for rain today. We do have a 40% chance of the forecast there. Light showers around Demopolis at 84. The further north you go into Alabama, the Tuscaloosa area, that's where you're going to see more of the rain up in here as we look at that. And of course, as you look across there, that's going to be right there at Macon, Mississippi line for heavier rain. We are going to get some light stuff here in the Meridian area and through Neshoba. Don't discount that. 84, 83 there in Livingston, Alabama is expected today is what we're going to have. Now, let's look at this timeline. This is where we are. The red area, which is back over at the Mississippi Delta, just north of Yazoo City, is where the moderate risk, which is a level 4, that's where winds could reach up to 80 miles an hour with large hail, golf ball size hail, and tornadoes. Likely some strong ones possible in that. Now, the enhanced risk, which stretches from the Delta back over to Columbus, Mississippi State, right through all of Macon, Winston County, most of Kemper County, and the northwest corner of Lauderdale, all of Clark, all of Neshoba, as you'll see, that is a level 3, which means you can have winds of 70 miles an hour, large hail, golf ball size hail, and we have seen this with this storm, and tornadoes are likely. You see that now. Just because that's red does not mean in any of these areas that it cannot happen. And as we get into the eastern side over here by Wynot, where they're hoping at Wynot Motorsports Park that no more wind comes near them, that everything's going to be fine. That's a level 2. But you still cannot discount a tornado in that area either. Damaging winds of 60 miles an hour. The hail is a little bit smaller on that. That will come down to golf ball size hail. Now, this is what we're looking at, 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. We're hoping that the storm will be a little bit faster and be out of the area by midnight. But they're going to go ahead and give that to that 1 a.m. Margin as it moves across the Alabama state line tonight. We'll be here again with that. Now, that picks up about where in Scott County, right around Forest, that's 6 p.m. If you live back from Scott County, from Forest back into Jackson, back over to the Vicksburg area, it's going to be from 4 p.m. to about 11 p.m. tonight is your timeline. And then from Vicksburg back into the Mississippi River, across there into Louisiana, from 2 in the afternoon through about 2 p.m. We hope this storm will come on across and just be gone and be out of here, and we won't see any of this. And the good news is we don't have anything forecasted bad for next week. So that's the bright side of this. But be on the lookout. If you'll see this map here, if you live east of Scott County, 6 p.m. If you live west of there, back to Jackson and all those areas, 4 p.m., be on the lookout. Now, as we come across here and we take a look here, what are we looking at? Flash flooding involved with this, to where we could get 2 to 3 inches when these storms roll through. That's a lot of rain. It can cause flooding. We know that. It's going to be late in the afternoon, right about dark 30 into the evening hours is what we've got lined up here as we look at this level 1 here. Now, as we move, strong winds. As we see this, we'll have sustained winds today of about 20 to 25, gust of 30 to 40. And if you've got something in your yard, as we always say, trampolines and those blue garbage cans, they can be dangerous. They can fly at you in a heartbeat there. Watch those. This will come in, say, 9 o'clock or so this morning, 10 o'clock, and go all the way through the evening hours there. Now, up in the Mississippi Delta, it's a little bit higher threat there, as they'll have sustained winds of 25 plus with gusts of 40 to 45. And that's the Mississippi Delta as we find out what our forecast is for today. Now, let's go on and take a look at the Alabama side of this. The Hamilton, Alabama area there, a little bit bigger threat up there in that northern part. Demopolis, these areas here as we go straight across into Sumter is a level 2 right here. 8 p.m. to 3 a.m. They give you that extra 2 hours here if you live northwest of Tuscaloosa over to Demopolis. In these areas, it's going to be 1 a.m. in the midnight hours until daylight. It makes it to Auburn at daylight. It's going to be a slow mover there across the state of Alabama as it comes across. Here's what we got with the temperatures. 6 to 10 days, a little bit cooler is what we're expecting. You wouldn't know that right now at 64, would you? Warmer weather back out here making its way toward Texas out of California. We'll be monitoring that as well. Now, here's our forecast of what our temperatures are for the next 6 to 10 days as we get ready for Easter. That is coming on Sunday, and we do have a 40% chance of showers there. Today, Not so much during the daylight hours. We have a 40% chance of showers. Thunderstorms are possible after 1 o'clock. That's when we'll start seeing more happen. We've had some roll through this morning. Some of these could be severe even before the storms get here. That 83 for the high. We will have winds increasing to about 20 miles an hour in the afternoon. That's sustained. Gust of 30 is what we're looking at. Now, as darkness falls, however you want to word that, we're going to increase that rain chance to 90% chance. It will all be over by 4 a.m. That could be producing these large storms. Winds overnight will be somewhere between 15 to 20. Again, sustained. Gusts as high as 30 in those overnight hours. Be careful there. Do not sleep in rooms that have overlying limbs. We don't want you in that. By tomorrow, as the storms move out, everything should be ending by 7 o'clock in the morning. That 60% chance of rain will run out then. Then we'll make way for some sunshine with a high not as warm as today, but 77. We'll get down to 49 tomorrow night with a little burr as Good Friday rolls in. A slight chance of rain in the afternoon, a 20% chance there. High of 83 and gusty. It's a great day to hang your sheets out. 20-mile-an-hour gust, it'll dry them out quickly. By Friday night, Good Friday night, 30% chance of showers after 1 a.m. Now, Saturday, as we'll see here, we've got a 60% chance of that wet stuff. And then as we roll into Sunday, we do have that 40% chance of showers on Easter Sunday. High of 78, that's not so bad. As we'll jump ahead to Monday, 75. We still got slight chances, and it kind of winds down after that. As we look ahead all the way through April the 27th. The month is running out on us, isn't it? A little bit cooler there. When we get back into the 80-degree weather here next Friday, the 22nd, we'll stay in the 80s there for about a week. So that's how that is shaping up there. Now, as we go ahead and we jump ahead, if you're a fisherman wanting to get it done before the storm comes in, we go to Chet's Paint and Body. It looks like a good time today. It'll be 11 a.m. to 1. Right before everything gets messy this afternoon is a perfect time. Keep in mind we're fishing what the winds are today. South wind 10 to 15 this morning. By late afternoon, it will jump to 15 to 20 with gusts of about 30 miles an hour. That's a closer look at that weather of what we're expecting there. That's where we are. We're going to be monitoring this throughout the day. Now, don't go anywhere. We've got more coming up this morning to tell you some headlines and things that are going on locally in the area. And we'll recap the weather before we get out just so that you're well aware of what we've got going on. So stay close. We've got more on the way. If every time the wind blows you get a little leery about a tree over your house, talk to my friends at Reed Tree Service. There's no reason to be worried about a tree crashing through your house. Mike and Jake have years of experience of dealing with trees. It can be as simple as having a limb removed or a tree that is just huge too close to your shop or house. It's not going to cost you anything to have Mike come out and give you an estimate. They're licensed and insured, taking care of East Mississippi and West Alabama. Reed Tree Service. Have tree, will travel.
One of the most important places to you is your home. That's why Patrick Allen Companies is proud to provide style, functionality, and security to your home. There's nothing quite like a well-designed overhead garage door or vinyl replacement windows, or the safety of a storm shelter to help your family feel protected. Patrick Allen offers doors and windows for commercial and industrial with dozens of innovative designs. Patrick Allen Companies, safety, service, and satisfaction.
Welcome. If you're on a timestamp and got to be somewhere this morning, 10 minutes roughly before the top of the hour, if you've got to be there by 7, 10 minutes. Keep in mind, again, as we brought you the news of the building that collapsed Downtown Meridian on Front Street, the 2500 block of Front Street. If you've got to be in that area, possible power shortages in that area there. Good morning. Going out to Kathy Spence watching us from Decatur. Thanks a bunch. Denise Covington is up. Let's see. Georgia Hanson is up in Newton, Mississippi today. Glad to see you there, Denise. How are you? Joey Burt. Thanks, man. Appreciate to see you there. Charles Coker is up. 80 degrees when it moves across Louisiana. That's true. All right. The next story is we look at some stories that are going on statewide. This is a very disturbing story. I posted this yesterday afternoon. This comes from Jones County. A lot of things happen in that area, and I won't go into all the details just because it's on my page if you'd like to read more of this. A seventh grader was assaulted on a school bus. And the details of this are just disgusting. There's no other way to word it. He was attacked by four other guys who were older than him. Their ages were 4 to 17. They haven't exactly figured out how they're going to charge them with their ages, but horrible what they done to that little boy. As they done it in the back of the school bus, jumped him, beat him up, and done more. Read that story. This is what happens. There's a lot of parents that say, my child's not riding a school bus anymore. Again, this is Jones County, but it doesn't matter. State of Mississippi, things like this do happen, and that's why parents do drive their children to school. They just don't want them a part of all of that. But again, I won't go into all of that. It's just disgusting what was done. That's Jones County. I posted that yesterday. They're dealing with them. Let's hope a harsh punishment is passed on this to where it won't happen again. There won't be any repeats on this. Awful. Virginia Bell, Miss Vander Walker, how are you doing? DeKalb, Mississippi. A Hattiesburg man has been sentenced to 7 years. Well, he tried to steal something. Well, it doesn't sound bad. Well, he went into Academy Sports, and this is where it gets a little differently. It's why he's charged so hard. He asked to see a gun behind the counter, and as the gentleman handed him the gun, he was looking at it. He asked for another one, and the guy bent down to get it. He took the gun that he had in his hand and beat him in the head. Tried to steal it, ran. He was caught by other customers. Police arrived. They're charging him a stiff sentence on this. 7 years. Shouldn't have done that. Awful, awful. As we go around to Vicksburg, Mississippi, which is west of here, a fight broke out between women. She was shot in the stomach. Y'all seen all this? What makes people think because an argument happens that you can pull a gun or grab a stick and beat somebody just for no reason? That's Vicksburg, Mississippi this morning there. She's in the hospital. Hopefully she'll be all right on that. As we look around, in Louisiana, just across the state line, a Mississippi woman has been found deceased in a parked car. As they got there, she was 24 years old. Her name was Morgan Tyrone. She was from Pascagoula, Mississippi. She was found with a bullet. She was pronounced dead at the scene there, just across the state line into Jefferson Parish, across that state line there. Awful, awful. And a record has been set off the Mississippi River, a catfish. Big. 131-pound catfish was pulled from the Mississippi River. It's a new record there. That happened Thursday near Natchez. Big deal there. If you're a fisherman, you know all about that. As we look at some national headlines this morning, all those that run for office, they're supposed to represent you. Not the case when it comes to a Hawaii Democrat. Only showed up and voted 5 times, 3 to 5 times this year. That's what they're telling us there. And I can't pronounce the name, but I would try as a Democrat from Hawaii. As they look at this, somebody else will probably run for that seat and get it. If you don't show up to vote for your state, it's not good. You can't make a change or a difference if you're not there to vote. Now, New York City yesterday afternoon, as we saw all of this, a horrible thing that happened there in the New York City subway. And the gentleman that they're looking for, they still hadn't caught him. But we do know this is the picture of the gentleman that they're after. Have you seen this? People are just terrified of New York right now. All this happens, the subway, over and over again with all of this. This man pulled out a duffel bag and pulled out an axe. He had a gun, shot at least 30 times. People were injured. Thank heavens no one has died from any of this. And the hunt is on. They found the van that he rented parked outside on the street. 29 total injured. Crime has risen in New York City by 50% on subways. It's a Charles Bronson thing. Y'all remember back in the day of Death Wish, how the subways were labeled bad. There for a while it got better, where New York was the destination of vacations to go enjoy. Not the case anymore. As we learn more about the quarterback from the Pittsburgh Steelers there, Dwayne Haskins, someone called 911 6 minutes before he was struck, said he was walking down the middle of the highway. 6 minutes later, he would be struck and killed by a dump truck. No word yet as to what happened, why he was there. Sad news as we look at that. That's just one of those. And also a comedian. Did you see this? Gilbert Gottfried, if I pronounce that right, dead at 67. He's had a long-time illness. And he had one of those distinctive voices that, well, you couldn't miss, could you? He was very shrill, I think is the word there. I've also gotten reports of shots fired last night, 24th Avenue, 25th Street. No reports of damage at this point, but it did happen in the overnight hours there. Gunshots were heard. Also got a report of somebody bumping into a manhole that the cover was missing in the middle of the night. That'd be bad, wouldn't it? That happened on 19th Avenue, the 1300 block, is what we're being told. We'll try to dig deeper into that and find out more about that as the morning light comes. We also had a fire overnight. The 2400 block of 51st Avenue was also damaged. Fire broke out there, 2 homes. No, actually, let me take that back. That was my notes were wrong. It was a tree that fell with this wind that's coming through. 2 homes were damaged there on 51st Avenue, 2400 block. Got confused there on my notes, but that was a tree that fell. So be careful with that. As we showed you Mike's tree service there, if you've got a tree that overhangs your home, I cannot stress to you about being careful and not staying in rooms where these overhang your home. We don't want you to hurt because we got a lot of wind coming today. It can, as we see buildings collapse that are weak, trees, anything that can come down, that can happen there. That's a quick look at what we've got stirring this morning. Candace is coming in an hour and 2 minutes from now. I promise you she'll be here, and we'll get things rolling and let you know what's going to happen today with the weather. We'll be on top of it and tell you all the stories from across the nation and happening right here in our little world. It happens here. Thank you for being a part of this. We say good morning to Virginia Gordon. How are you there? Jan Martis, good morning. Says she'd never ride the subway in New York City. I don't think I would either. That's not for me. From Decatur, Kathy Spence, how are you feeling today? A lot of people up today. Peggy Joyner joining us from DeKalb. Nancy Clark, how are you doing? Bob McGee, also good morning to Sylvia Stewart and Quitman. Robin Sullivan, Philadelphia. I see a few of y'all. Stacy Little joining us from Enterprise this morning. Joyce Gressett, how are you? Also, Robin Miller, good morning. A few of the folks, Donna Norman watching us from over Newton, Mississippi. Almost said Norman, didn't I? Getting tongue-tied. That's the way things are so far this morning as daylight breaks. We've got rain in the forecast. And as we go back and take a quick look at the radar before we part ways for an hour, let me pull this up. And there we go. Here's what we've got on radar this morning. Everything in the northern portion of the state that's any size up here. This is going to be just north of Macon. That's going to be up around where you get that good food there at the Mennonite Bakery, right there at Crawford and those areas there. As we come down, we do show a few light showers here in Wayne County around Waynesboro. Nothing else bad at this point. We have some fog popping up right along in here, Leake County and these areas here. Be careful wherever you go today. Again, we'll be back in just a little bit, maybe an hour. Yeah, right at 8 o'clock. Join us for a live show. Candace will be here with us. Thanks for joining the Scotty Ray Report. We'll see you soon.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners: